All right, so today is day 3,
Yeah.
and oh my gosh, what a time!
Yeah. Yeah. So last night, we did the mushroom or the psilocybin ceremony, and it was a time.
It was needed. It was 20 women in one room in a circle, and we all took a dosage of herbs, whether it was psilocybin or other herbs that our bodies can handle.
Mhm.
But both of us took 2 grams, and we all had different experiences, but we're going to share what our experiences was.
Yeah, I was going to add, I think what was also in our tea, it wasn't just mushroom, but it was lotus and mugwort in our tea.
Oh.
And then there were some people, and you said we did 2 grams of the mushrooms.
Psilocybin, P6, and others just had mugwort and blue lotus.
Yeah. I was actually surprised that it was only going to be 2 grams. I thought we were going to do like
3 grams.
3, 4, 5 grams or more.
Yeah.
Because that's what a heroic dose is. And like, if you really want to have like deep, what is it called?
A detachment from the ego.
Yeah.
Disillusion.
Disillusion from the ego, you are not you, period. That is what you would take. But what I liked about this dosage is that you didn't get so lost in like being outside of yourself. There were moments that I would go and then come back and then go and come back. And
I'm gonna talk about my experience lightly, because every time I go back there, my head hurts.
Okay.
Psilocybin supposedly really does give you aches, and I've been having a pounding headache today. But I didn't want to cut you off. I was just saying how I'm just gonna go lightly into it.
Okay. So I think I'll go a little bit more in depth about what I experienced because I was talking to one of the facilitators. Her name is Zenny, and I was enjoying my time. Like honestly, overall, I did not have a bad experience. I wasn't fearful. Before we started, everybody sat down at their mats, and on your mats, you randomly choose a mat. But on the mats before you sit down, there was 2 cards, and so when the facilitators told us to start drinking the tea, we drank it, and then at the end of finishing our drink, or some people struggle to get it down, but then she was like, then flip over your cards and read what's on your cards. And my card said, one said dark soul of the night, and the other said surrender. And so those are the 2 things that I would be guided towards, or I would remember or
receive assistance from those goddesses that was helping you bring those things out.
Right. And the night before, or earlier that day, I think it was the day before, we were also provided or given goddesses or queens that would be our guide through our experience, through not just our experience in this retreat or in the ceremony, but just in life and whatever we're going through. And the person that I flipped over and had was Queen Nefertiti. And the one thing that I remember about reading up on Queen Nefertiti is the sensuality that she had. She's powerful. She was on the same level of other pharaohs, of her pharaoh husband, which was very rare. She was in a lot of spiritual guidance. She did a lot of spiritual guidance, and that usually is reserved for the pharaohs, but she was like right alongside. She became the symbol of this spiritual practice that was going on in Egypt. And of course, she was just a powerful, strong woman. And so it was very interesting that I got Queen Nefertiti, and then on top of that, I got Surrender and Dark Soul of the Night. So
I like what you said about Queen Nefertiti is it says everything she touches turns to gold.
Yeah,
you're successful. You're a warrior. Right. You are fearless. All those things.
Like everything that you're thrown in at life. It also reminds me of Beyonce. Your life hands you lemons, you turn it into lemonade. Life throws you whatever, you turn it into gold. And so I'm like, okay, like Yeah, I love that. Like everything I touch turns to gold. I keep saying that, like that's the mantra. So as I'm sitting on my mat, I see the cards and Dark Soul of the Night. Little honestly, it made me a little nervous. I'm like, what is Dark Soul of the Night? What am I going to be going? Like, what darkness do I got to see? You know? And so I was just like, I don't want to go that. I want to be dark. so I was like, all right. Surrender. I just got to learn how to surrender. And what was so interesting about getting surrender is that surrender has been a theme in my life for the past few months. Just surrender to the feeling, and just trust that your body and you always say like the technology of your body is intelligent and it knows what it needs to do and whatnot. So that's what I did. I was just like, all right, cool. So the ceremony starts. They turn off all the lights and the music starts. And this is like tribal music throughout the whole thing. First of all, I need to say, we started the ceremony around 7:30 p.m. Mm-hmm. And we were there for 7 hours.
And we did not feel it.
It did not feel like 6-7 hours.
We left at 1:49 p.m.
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't even look at my clock when I got back.
Time was not a thing. Yeah. It was not. We were in the now.
Yeah, for
7 hours.
For real. So all right. So what was happening? I'm going.
Yeah.
So I was laying on my mat, just waiting for the medicine to tap in when all the lights went out. And I'm just like chilling. I'm like, all right, cool. What's going on? Actually, no.
When did it start hitting?
So first I was like sitting up on my mat, or I was sitting up on the little pillow, and I was just like chilling. I didn't start seeing anything, but I started feeling my stomach kind of turn. It started to feel a little queasy, and I know that mushrooms do that because when I do microdose, that's what it feels like on my stomach, like just a little like, ooh, I don't like that feeling. But one thing that I've learned is when I'm starting to feel uncomfortable, especially when there's that sensation in my stomach, to start doing this deep hum. And so when I started feeling that initiate in my system, I'm like, because that to me is just is like, it's energy that's showing up in the pit of my stomach that just needs to disperse, or you start breathing through it. I know some of the other people really thought they were about to throw up, so they got up and was trying to go to the bathroom, and the facilitators, they are like,
nope, do your work.
Yeah, they're like, no. They're like, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. No, you're not.
You don't.
No, you're not.
They transmuted that.
Yeah, go sit down. We'll breathe with you, but you are going to go through this. Some people didn't even want to finish their medicine. They're like, drink it. You're not going to get away from this. And so it was somebody called it was a gentle lashing.
Yeah, it was a motherly lashing, mm-hmm. but it was needed because children will try to get their way and will try to run.
Yeah,
and the mother did a great job at like saying, you will do it, but you won't do it by yourself.
Yeah,
we're here with you.
Yeah, one of the things that they really try to instill was like, this circle, this is the heartbeat. Like, you guys are becoming one organism with this experience. And so what they really didn't want happening is people getting up and leaving or walking out, and because it can disrupt that organism that we are breathing and living in as one.
A main theme that we all talked about is that we felt connected. And imagine if that circle was broken and some people wanted to bow out, and imagine the people who were in it. Mm-hmm. We all needed to be in it, and we all felt supported. So if 2-5 people left, it's like the energy would have felt heavy or not enough support. And so I'm glad that everybody stayed.
Yeah.
What I felt was my Sankopa, which is my intention for this trip, for this medicine. When I blessed the water before I took it, I wanted to connect with my sisters. I wanted to connect with myself. I wanted to connect with the divine feminine energy, and that's exactly what I got. In my experience, cords were connected from me to all of the women that was in the room. It felt like we met on a different realm, and it felt like I was there to support them through their journey. Although I was going on my journey, I felt body sensations, I heard colors, I saw sounds, I saw patterns, I saw all types of stuff, but it was a pleasant experience. It was fun. I would go as far as to say it was fun. It was not enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was absolutely perfect. I felt supported, and when I actually needed someone, I was touched at the right time. I was touched on my chest, and I was coached through transmuting energies that was all around me. People were throwing up, people were coughing, people were snotting and
crying, like screaming,
dancing. People sounded like they were having orgasms. Some people sounded like they were having birth, like going through birthing pains. It was quite beautiful because that was the work that people needed. And it wasn't just them. It wasn't just their stuff, but people were really shedding their lineage, their maternal and paternal traumas that get stuck in our DNA, that travels to us through our mothers. So what was beautiful about yesterday is we introduced ourselves. We said what our names were. We said that we are the daughter of whoever our mother was. We are the granddaughter of, or we're the great granddaughter of, and some people went far as great granddaughter. And so we acknowledged them in that space.
We didn't have trouble drinking the tea. It was not good.
I wasn't nauseous. I wasn't sick or nothing. Mm-hmm. I was eager. Yes.
I was just like.
So when did it start for you? When the lights went off, or when you had the cards, or what?
So when it hit my stomach, there's like a first wave of stuff. Like if I close my eyes, I could see just maybe some textures or whatnot. But when my eyes are open, nothing feels different, right? So there was a first wave of that, and then it dissipated. And so
were the lights on or off?
The lights were off.
Oh, okay.
I think it was off. Yeah.
Okay, so you started getting it, like feeling it, when the lights got off, and that was like 30 minutes into it.
Maybe, yeah.
And that's about maybe 15 minutes after we drank the thing. Okay.
And so I honestly was like, what's going to happen? Like, am I actually going to feel something? Like, maybe I needed to take more because of my body mass. And so I was just like, whatever, I'm just going to ride this. And so the music, I think that I gotta go back. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and lay down because as I started feeling the nauseousness kind of tapping, I'm like, all right, this is what's going on. So I closed my eyes and I'm just there. And every now and again, it felt like there was this shamanistic, like it felt like a male shaman that would come and like hover over and like look at me. It felt like there was a figure. It didn't feel threatening or anything. It just felt like it was like coming over and looking at me. And what I could hear was like, she's not ready. And then that figure would like move away. Mind you, again, my eyes are closed. But there was a time when when I felt it like hover over me again, I opened my eyes, nobody was there. But it really felt like somebody was watching me. But it was just like, it was a gentle, calming presence that was like seeing if I was ready to experience what I was experiencing and just waiting for like a little bit more of whatever readiness. And so it came over to me again and said, I don't think she's ready. And in my mind, I'm like, I am. Show me. My eyes are closed and there's like this tapestry of like mandala, like light mandala, not anything crazy. Some people were seeing eyeballs and I'm like, no, I didn't see none of that. Mm-hmm. It was just like shapes. I saw like like mandala flowers and like I saw like zigzag lines.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
It was like texture I saw. And
that symbolized that we were all connected. That was the cord that was connecting to everybody. That's what was revealed to me.
Wow. Yeah, I kept seeing the zigzags, right? And then when I was like, I'm ready, that tapestry of what I was seeing, literally it was like strings pulled it away, like, and then I was like in this like trance. And what I was feeling and experiencing was I was in a different time period or like in a past life or something, but what I was feeling was the energy of like being in a circle of women, and it felt like we were around the fire. This was a practice that ancestors, like back in the back in the day, I'm talking about
before civilization.
Yeah. Like tribe-like culture. I was there, and just feeling the energy that was going on. I started hearing people start crying, and people start like breathing and making these noises.
Did you hear when it was beginning to be calm and everybody was kind of silent and going through their stuff and breathing, and then the energy would roar back up slowly, and you would hear and we were all breathing as one, and then you heard screams out of nowhere, and you heard other things, and I'm just like, wow, how is that happening? How are we all getting the same thing but different ways?
I really think that the music had a lot to do with it.
Oh, yeah.
I think the music pulled us through this journey, and it was up and down, up and down.
It felt light, and when we first started, I forgot to say, I felt my medicine. I finished my cup. I took one gulp and I had this much left, and then I drank it before the lights went out. I was feeling it. I didn't even want to talk about my card that I got, because I was like, it was so relaxing. When them lights went off, I was like, oh shit, I gotta pee. And like Spirit was saying, either you go pee now before or you hold it throughout the whole thing. So I went to go pee. And what I was feeling through that music it was bliss. I was like, oh yes,
there was a bliss.
Oh,
yeah,
so
it felt good. Yeah.
And every time I opened my eyes and I closed them back up, I couldn't continue what the last thing was. It was like a new realization and a new vision. And last thing, then when the boom, 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 and you would see your shadow appear, and not a shadow of like your being, but your shadow self, the things that you need to work through, started to creep. But it wasn't scary. It was just like I felt sensations. I felt my wound being healed. I felt my organs being amplified in sensation. Like, okay, I'm doing work on here. I'm doing work on here. And then when I hear the cries and I hear the birth saying, not only are you doing it, this is being healed for them too. And so I was feeling all that gas was going on. I was like, man, I feel like I got a shit. And they're like, no, this is not your regular feel like you got a shit. This is the work that's being done. So breathe through this. Then you can continue, but you were releasing something, and me and you felt tied.
I think that when you heard me actually release, because I was quiet up until a certain point.
You was laughing.
I was laughing.
You was crying.
I was crying.
And then you was weeping.
Oh yeah. And
then you was laughing in between that. And so even when you were laughing, I was smiling. I was so happy. I was just had this big old smile on my face. And then when I heard it get rough for you, it was like something was being pulled out of me.
Oh man, it felt like something was being pulled out of me.
Yes, and my legs were swaying from side to side. It was like I was helping you, but it was being tugged in me too.
Okay, I gotta get to that. Get to that. So, you were talking about the drums. I feel like the drums brought me into this realm of like, I forget which comes first. If it was essential music that came first or the drums. Do you remember?
Drums were all in there, but there were drums at the beginning.
Yeah.
But the sensual music was like, it felt like halfway through. Yeah.
So the drums came and I started feeling things, and something told me like, sit up. So I sat up and I sat on my pillow. And like I said, I wasn't here in this time. I was in the past. But then I was feeling like this like deep sensation of yawns that I was just like having. And it's just like,
And it was everybody. Everybody was yawning.
Yeah. But and I want to explain, like, it's not no regular yawn. It was like a soul, like like that kind of yawn. Like it was like my lungs had to open and my mouth couldn't get wide enough to get enough oxygen going through my body to to satisfy. Like I just kept yawning and yawning. And then
the facilitators mentioned, like, we have these bodily functions that we do on a regular basis, but we're so disconnected from what these meanings are. And so when you don't do a lot of spiritual work, you will just think your physical sensations are just like, oh, I got acid reflux, oh, I got a burp, I got gas, oh, I'm tired, or oh, I feel these cramps. But no, this is energy. And so when you yawn like that, what you're doing is gasping oxygen because your body actually needs it, but you're transmuting the energy and the work that you are filtering through your body. It's really energetic work. And all of us felt that and was yawning at different points. But I just wanted to say that is that, like, transmuting energy, changing the evolvement, like changing sadness or frustration that people were feeling or fear. Others were transmuting that. It was energy is not destroyed, but it's just transferred from one person to another. And so we were feeling that, and some people was like our facilitators were allowing that sound to transmute, but sometimes the yawn is transmuting, sometimes farts are transmuting, or burps. Our facilitator burped this big old burp because it just needed to. Just wanted to say that.
I feel like you would say that you're saying that, like, the transmission of energy, like we were transmuting each other's energy, but I don't feel connected to that per se. I felt like I was transmuting, like every wave that came out, it literally came over, it was like roll and came out. And it felt like these were the breaths that my ancestors or my past lives, whatever, never took. It felt like I was breathing for them. It felt like, and after every breath, every yawn, tears streaming down my face, like snot, like falling down my face. And so I'm there and I'm like, this is me. It felt, I was sitting here like this, and I felt like I was a priestess. I felt like I was like, my body is doing something that, and I'm not scared. I'm like, my body is doing something that it knows it needs to do. And I'm just allowing, I'm just the vessel. That's the word that came. I'm the vessel to bring these unfelt, like unbreathed breaths, these uncried tears, this unrealized pain. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel fearful. I didn't feel anything. It just felt like my body was being the vessel for all of these things. And so I literally felt like I was an Egyptian shaman, something, doing this for my people from who knows how many generations before. And so yeah, it was a really powerful experience to just not be me, but to be the I guess the conduit to bring and to transmute all of whatever was going on. And then the music started to change, and then that's when it started getting real, like, sensual, right? And so then now I'm not an Egyptian goddess no more. I am like a Indian, a sensual Indian, like, goddess that's like, girl, just like how that happened, like that stuff started doing this. It started like falling off me, and I started touching myself. Like, my body didn't feel right if I was not moving. And so I was sitting and meditating, and then the song came through, and it rolled up my spine, and from my spine it rolled up my arm, and it rolled through my hands, and my eyes are closed the whole time. And I'm just like, ooh, it's like I could see the movement without even seeing it. And I'm just like rolling through, and then somebody on the mat next to me, she said she was seeing me, and she's like, girl, I was like, she's like, did you hear my snakes? And I was like, girl, yeah, because I started going like I felt the snake like go through me.
Wow.
Yeah. And so my eyes were closed. Everybody today said that they saw me, and they're like, oh yeah, she was doing she was going in. But what it really felt like is like this overwhelming, like,
Making love to you.
Making love to myself. Like, I felt good. I didn't care who saw me. I don't care. Like, my eyes were closed. I wasn't worried about being seen. I was worried about feeling good and what felt good to my body. And then just like moving my hips. There was the girl next to me. Her name is, we call her Devon. She was up and she was dancing at this time. But I was like breathing through and just, yeah, just, it felt so good. It felt so good and so fun. And I think then I went back into the shaman and brought this thing back up and just like, okay, music changed. I'm like, breathing again. And so, man, and I don't really know what happened after like, right, what happened next.
You took another medicine on top of it.
Oh yeah, so
you don't have to go in order, but just big things that really left an impact on you.
Yeah. And so I just remember each of these, I guess, time periods or things that I embodied. I just remember sitting and being like open. I was sitting open, and then just naturally I'm just like I'm praying, like, not, I wasn't actually praying, but naturally my hands just did this, and then I would come back and just like receive and be the vessel, and then I'm like, oh, receive, be the vessel. It just, that's what it just felt like.
Surrender.
So yeah, it just felt like surrender. I just let everything open. Mm-hmm. And then I was sitting and I don't know what I was feeling, but the facilitator came over told me today that she was standing in front of me right before she came to talk to me, and she's like, I was standing and watching your face, and your face was doing this thing, like it was morphing through different things. Like, she's like, because that represents the mask that we could be wearing, the mask from you know, our ancestors that are coming through, and your face was just moved, like coming through. And I think I was crying at that time too, like tears were in my eyes. And then she came, she's like, what's going on? And mind you, I'm just completely in my body. I'm not trying to have thought. I'm not trying to look at nobody else. And like, her asking me that question made me be like, I don't want to say. I'm like, right? I was like, oh my gosh. And so I was just like, I'm the vessel. I think right before this, that's when you heard me laughing, because as I'm like doing all this transmuting energy, like after I was doing all that yawning, I was laughing because I'm like, this shit ain't even mine that I'm doing. Like it did not feel like
you was carrying your stuff.
You
was carrying your
other people's stuff. And so it was coming through me, and because I didn't feel connected personally, like mentally or emotionally to what was going on, it was just coming through my body. I'm like, this shit ain't even mine. It's fun, but shit, I'm here just allowing that thing to flow through. And so she came, and I was like, I'm just a vessel. And she's like, all right, so what the vessel for? And I'm like, this shit ain't even mine. And I'm laughing, and she goes to my chest. She's like, what is yours? And I was like, oh shit. And I didn't even know how to answer that. And so she's like, I want you to focus on yourself. Like, because I was about to start getting into the music, because the music started feeling good. And then she's like, focus on yourself. Don't listen to music. Go inward. And as she said that, I was like, and I sunk down. And I just sat there, and then she's like, from the moment you walked in, I saw that there's these things that are attached to you. Your ancestors told me that Hape is something that was used in your lineage. Wow. And that is why it is needed to clear whatever's going on and whatever's attached to you, because it is something that is meant for you. And yeah, that's what she told me today. I agree to her. Yeah. And so she stands up and she moves away. Mind you, again, my eyes are closed. And she's gone for about 2 minutes, and I'm still sitting there sunken. And I'm sitting, I'm like, what is mine? What is mine? What's mine? What's mine? And then she comes back over with the Hape. So the Hape is basically a tobacco substance, like really fine ground this tobacco substance that is used in traditional ceremonies as a cleansing agent. Maybe, yeah, you can look it up. But they shoot it up your nose, your nostril, and you got to do it to both nostrils. You got it?
Yeah, it says Hape or Rape is the preparation of powdered medicinal herbs, often with a tobacco base. It elicits a feeling of alertness and elevation that surpasses most other natural plant medicines. The effects of Hape are experienced rapidly and intense because the powdered snuff is administered through the nose. From the indigenous point of view, Hape is a sacred shamanic snuff medicine with profound healing effects.
Now the thing is, when I've seen Hape done, I've always seen it go in one nostril, but it's always connected to the facilitator, and the facilitator blows it up. But this one, she comes over and she shows me the device that I have to do. She starts trying to explain to me, all right, so you're going to blow into this tube, and then over here, the hop is going to be in here, and you're going to put it in your mouth, and then you're going to put it, and then you're going to take a deep breath, and then blow. And again, I am kind of disconnected and dissociated. I don't know what's going on, so I'm just confused, just like trying to grapple all the words she's putting together into one coherent sentence for me to understand. And so I'm like, wait, I'm about to do what? I'm laughing at her, and she's like, I know, girl, I know. Like, why do I got to do this, right? And so she's like laughing with me because she's like, that shit don't make sense, do it? So now she's again explaining, because again I'm all jumbled up. I don't hear what she's saying. So now she's trying to explain it to me again, and she puts the device, because this is a self-administering device. She puts the device in my hand to do it, and I'm like, I'm not ready. And I start shaking because I am scared, and that the fear starts from my hands and rises through my body, and my body starts shivering in fear. And I start crying, like, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared. And I start falling into her lap, just crying, I'm so scared. And in that moment, she allowed me to be scared. She's like, I know. And she just let me cry. And then I started asking why me? When I was crying, I'm so scared, and why me? It wasn't just, I'm so scared to do this medicine, why do I have to do it? It was, I'm so scared, period. I'm so scared to be alone. I'm so scared to do this on my own. I'm so scared to experience all the loss that I'm going to experience. I'm so scared to do what's next. And it's not just me, but it was the generations. It was my ancestries. I'm so scared. And the why means, why do I have to experience what I went through in my life? Why? It wasn't just my why. It was a why that radiated across lifetimes, across ancestors. And I cried for them, this shaking. And so Zenny, she's like, she starts praying over me. She's like, I need all of her ancestors, all the healed ancestors from her maternal ancestors, her paternal ancestors, to come forward and give her and bring her the warrior strength, the warrior spirit. Show her that she is strong. Bring the strength from within her. And so I'm slumped over in her lap, and as she's praying, like, and the tears are streaming out, I start being able to breathe and like come back up and feel myself console myself to do this. And then she's like, as I'm like, stop crying, she looks at me and she's like, all right, so what you gonna do is you're gonna take a deep breath. You can put this in your mouth, and this is gonna go up your right nostril, and then you're going to blow, okay? And she puts it back in my hand, and I'm like shivering again. And so, she also told me that the reason why I was scared and shaking and shivering, she's like, whatever's in you, that thing that's in you, it knows it's about to get up out of there. That's why you're scared. That's why it's coming up now.
She's like, it's scared to get up out of you.
Yeah, it's scared.
It's made a home within you, and it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's scared to leave. And it was like, you need to let that thing come up out of you.
Do you feel like it's gone?
I think I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I feel its presence, or you feel different.
I feel different. I feel different, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
you know. So it was actually this nostril first. She put it in my mouth, and I take a deep breath, put it in my mouth, put it in my nose, and then she's like, blow. And I hesitate for a second, but then the word that was in my card, surrender, pops into my mind, and then I just did it. Yo, it shot like what up behind my eyeball, and I saw light. I saw a light of swirls just going through, and girl, it shocked the living daylights out of me. Girl, I can't even explain what it felt like. All I know is I grabbed her. She was sitting in front of me. I grabbed her legs. I was like, oh. Like, I explained the first breath, like the breath that I had to take for that, as it felt like the newborn breath, like the popping of the lungs, like it was like I felt it in my lungs.
Like it was your first breath.
Like it was my first
that breath.
Yes.
Oof.
Yes.
Oof.
And so it was a lot. And she's like, all right, now it's time for the other nostril. And so she did it, and she put it in my mouth, and I'm like, and then she's like, blow. I was like, it's like, went up my nose again. And so now I start feeling everything roll through, everything in my body. It's just, it's overload of sensation. And now I am literally not my body. My body's doing whatever it wants. And then she took this rattle above my girl, my body was reacting to the thing. It was convulsing. It's like I was possessed, and I was just like, it
was moving out of you.
Yes, and it was coming out, and what you heard was the like that. And after it came out, I literally was like,
see, at that point, I was like this. I felt it. And what I described to you was, it felt like whatever is our tie, whatever ties us together, either, I think in an unhealthy way, I just felt snips. It just felt like we were being snipped. Whatever I was tied to with you, and whatever fear I knew that was living within you, I felt like I needed to compensate for it. And it felt like it was no longer. It was just snipped. And I didn't need to do nothing. It felt freeing.
It was definitely an experience. I don't want to say I lost sensation, but in my body, but I could not sit up. I fell and I slopped over. My arms were just out. I was just there. And my eyes were closed, and all I was trying to do was focus on breathing, and something in my mind was like, follow the light. And so as my eyes are closed in this pillow in front of me, there's like a little tiny light that I'm seeing do this, right? In addition to like mandala, but there's like this little light, and watching that little light calmed me. Like it allowed me to focus on like the breathing, while also just allowing me to feel all the sensation that was going through my body, the sensations I was feeling. My hands, like every nerve ending in my body was not necessarily on fire, but it got hot and was like
intensifying.
Yes, intensifying. And then Zenny was like, it sounds like you got it from here. And she stood up and she walked away. I was like, oh my God. And so I'm just there slumped, and I'm like I'm there for a while. She did tell me, she's like, it's gonna make you want to spit. Like, don't swallow that spit it out. And so it was really hard. Like I was like dripping and drooling and stuff like that, and I couldn't even reach the cup to get it because like my arms were not mobile.
See, my question is, with all y'all spitting and throwing up and stuff, where did the throw up go?
I don't know.
Was it cleaned up?
It must have been. I was thinking maybe they had towels out or something, or I don't know. But the spit definitely was all over the pillow. And then I had a cup. Yeah, I had a cup that she had there. But man, and you know, after the Hape, like after I'm laying there and I'm consoling myself, and I'm like, wow, I did it. Like I start feeling the drums going again. And then I start feeling this warrior spirit come into me. And like now I'm starting to have like the energy to start sitting up. And when I sat up, it was like I had breathed openly and freely for the first time. Like, like that's what it felt like. It was like an unfiltered or unobstructed, I'll say unobstructed breath that I felt like I never took before. And it felt freeing, and my throat felt open, and my heart felt loose, and I felt energized at that point. And so after that experience, I felt good. I heard in my mind, you can rest. And so I was like, okay. So then I laid down and on my mat, and I started relaxing and resting. And then my eyes just kept on leaking. My eyes kept on leaking and crying. But what I remember me doing and feeling was love. This intense love and appreciation for myself, for everything, for just me, my being. And I just got into this mantra. I love you, 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 I love you. And I just was saying it out loud and crying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I was feeling myself, I was holding my heart. It was just a lot of love after that for myself that I was having.
You went through a hard thing.
Yeah.
What you did was hard.
Right. Yeah, and
but you did it.
And that was the lesson is I can do the hard things by myself and be okay. I love me because I can bring myself through it.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're supported.
And I'm supported
by all of your ancestors.
Yeah. And then towards the end, I began to sit up. I sat up and I was on my pillow. I was just like in shock. I was like dissociated, just like staring out into space. And then this song came on about like mothers and daughters, and I don't know what it was saying, but I know it said something. And then I started crying and I started weeping because in that moment, it wasn't even me, my version of me today. It was my inner child, and she was crying because she was like, I just want my mommy. I just want my mommy to hold me, just to hug me, to love me. I just want my mommy. I just saw my mom. I saw my grandmother, and I felt the love that I had for them. It was just an overwhelming amount of love that I had for these women, these powerful, strong women in my life. And I'm just like, I hope they know that I love them unconditionally. I hope they know that they don't have to do anything for me. They don't have to be anything for me. They don't have to give me nothing.
They're able to receive that love.
Yeah, you don't have to we don't have to be anything. But I love them so much, and I just wanted to feel that love from my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I love, like, in that moment, and then so my little girl in me was just crying and weeping. Then Zenny came back over and she's like, how you doing? I'm like, but today I told her, I was like, in that moment, I was crying out for my mom, and I should have asked you, can you hold me? She's like, I felt that too. I should have came back and held you. And yeah, at the end, I was finally able to stand up, and I walked to the edge of the pavilion, which is like, it's rice fields out here in Bali, and the frogs were going crazy. The frogs were ribbiting like crazy, or croaking, and then there was a wind. I had my shawl on like this, and the wind was just blowing. I felt like I was flying. I was just like this.
It's like nature was a part of our experience.
Yes, it was. Yes.
People were saying that the trees were hugging. The trees were part of the symphony of the frogs and the crickets and the birds and just everything. Somebody heard a goat.
There was no goats, but there was a goat in spirit.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. Mm-hmm. Really, really beautiful. I hope that more things come back to my memory.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I need rest. I feel really, really tired.
Yeah. But yeah, that was our experience. Honestly, I told the facilitator today, I was like, I really enjoyed. I was having a good time, but I I didn't feel scared. I didn't see or experience anything scary. The only time I had fear was when she put that Hape stick in my hands, and I started like shaking and shivering because of the fear and whatnot. But after that, it was just a very empowering and freeing, and like it almost was like orgasmic. It sounded like I was having orgasms, you know?
I heard that.
It didn't feel like it.
It was plenty of people in there having orgasm. At least it sounds like it. That's a scene in the movie. I don't know if it was how Stella got her groove back when they were at that party, and then I don't know if you ever seen it, but it was just a moment in the dancing, and it was like and they were dancing, and all the clothes was coming off. That's actually the scene in the movie where you close your eyes. But that's what it sounded like in that room. It was like you know, it was sounding like real divine feminine energy.
Yeah, it felt very safe.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it felt really good.
Yeah, man. All right, that's it for me.
All right, well, that was our experience.
Tomorrow's day 4. Tomorrow we're doing excursions, but I think we're going to rest. They're going to 3 different events that we actually did when we were here in February. We're gonna skip out. I'm gonna rest. I'm gonna get up whenever I want to and get out by the pool and read my book.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching.